If we are to have any semblance of order in this country,
Do this!
Peace, unity, and welcome my conscious and unconscious family and friends. This is the all-new Black Village Community Podcast, and I am truly your host of the show, JC, aka Afro Black, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut, without any fear, as I use my mic as a spear to chucker you with liberated truth. I am your host and your native soldier in the struggle. My purpose and mission for this show is first to enlighten, inform, and engage. And I want to engage with all who claim to know the truth. All truth seekers and my native family, I welcome you. This show is dedicated to all our indigenous native ancestors and to all those who've carried the mantle of truth, and to every person with the ability to throw off the chains of comfortable habit and unwarranted assumption and move in a new, liberated direction that is guided by truth and observational evidence, no matter where that direction may lead you. My main objective and purpose here is freedom, mind, soul, and spirit. That being said, welcome to the Black Village Community Podcast, and much love from our great universal goddess and mother of all, living here and above.
DC in the house.
On police brutality with that line in the song, quote, and we hate the popo, want to kill us in the street. Oh,
please. I don't like that.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, and born like this, immaculate conception. Not transform like this, perform like this, was Yaoshu a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just kill shit cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. I just win again, then win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again, the sound that engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work, I know just who you are. See, use it.
This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure.
Hey, this is JC aka Afro Black, and I am here with you for another delicious Black Sunday. Excuse me for that little mic interruption right there with my my track board right here, but I'm getting things together. I am here for another delicious Black Sunday here on the Black Village Community Podcast to drop nothing but the raw and uncut here on the Black Village Community Podcast. And today's podcast subject is a delicious podcast subject matter for all the conscious and indigenous aboriginal people out there and those who are seeking truth. You feel me? Today's podcast subject matter is, and I call it as it is, raw and uncut, the color caste system of America, subtitled The Etymology of Words. The color caste system of America and the etymology of words. And also, let me present, I have a special guest here today joining me here on the Black Village Community Podcast. You might have heard of the brother. I'm pretty sure you heard of the brother. I definitely heard of the brother before I met the brother, before I talked to the brother. Brother KERRY Davis is here with us from the forum, Facebook forum, African Americans Ain't African. Again, Brother KERRY Davis is here to join us here on the Black Village Community Podcast from the Facebook forum, African Americans Ain't African. So let me present this brother. But first, let me lay back some music so we have something more easy to reverberate to. Let me change this. Okay, there we go. Brother Kerry Davis, let me present you. Go ahead and join us here, my brother. Say something to the conscious community.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my brother, I am so glad you are here to reverberate on a subject matter which I believe is very important, not only to those who are, in the academic educational community, but those who are seeking truth, those who are seeking identity, those who are seeking culture, and just those in general who just want to know the truth. The etymology of words, things that people say every day and don't realize what they're saying. People who say things and don't realize the power of words. Am I wrong, my brother?
Well, you're absolutely right.
And so I want to reverberate with this with you on more than one reason. Not just the fact of talking about truth and talking about a subject matter that a lot of people don't realize, but also I want to reverberate with you on this because I've talked to a lot of indigenous aboriginal brothers out there who have a problem with the term black, who have a problem with the fact that I call my radio broadcast the Black Village. So I want to get this get this thing started. First, we're talking about the etymology of words, and then in a second part to this podcast, I want to reverberate on the color caste system of America, and then I want to bring both of them together so that the color caste system of America, it'll be a part two, but it'll come together and everybody see everything as a whole. You feel me? So that's what I want to do. I want to do it like that. First, I want to talk about the etymology of words from black to white. From black to white as well as to red, to the artificial construct of African American, Black American. These are words that people use every day, and they don't realize the governmental legality of these words. They don't understand the power behind these words. So before we go into reverberating on the power of these words, let me get things going with a audio cast that I want to play that speaks to what I'm talking about, the confusion in the African American, Black American, whatever you want to call it, aka artificial construct people out there, melanated people, the confusion behind the word black, African American, and so forth. And then we'll take it we'll come back after this audio cast, and we'll come back and we'll reverberate on this in just a minute. Give me a minute, and I'm going to play this audio cast right now, and we'll be back to reverberate on what I'm talking about.
It tends to be white people when they're just trying to figure out what to call you. They're just like, she's black, she's African, I don't know. She's my friend.
I grew up identifying as black.
I identify as a black man.
I think I identify and call myself black is because I'm still trying to trace my ancestry.
I identify as African American.
I identify as black, but I'm also Creole.
I am Bayesian American and Nigerian American, but I call myself black.
Black is beautiful, and I've always just found strength in the word. Black is strong, black is pretty.
Depending on the situation or the moment in time, I'll feel hella proud. I'm incredibly proud to be a black man and black power, all that other good stuff. But then
to society, there's a lot of negatives. So black is synonymous with ghetto, it's synonymous with loud, it's synonymous with lazy.
The only time that it really bothers me is when it's used amongst people who look like me, someone from the Caribbean or someone from a country in Africa that are saying,
I'm not black, I'm Nigerian, or I'm not black, I'm Bayesian.
Members of my family, they want to separate themselves from black Americans because they think that being too tied to that means that they're ghetto.
We should be on a much stronger unified front.
It's interesting for me because I technically am African American.
I mean, me personally, I feel like African American is a label that was created for us.
It just seems like something that would be in the New York Times to describe black people.
I'm not from Africa directly, so I don't feel like I should label myself as an African American.
I think for some people it just feels wrong to harken back to something that they now, unfortunately, don't really have a connection to.
I sometimes refer to myself as Ghanaian American just because, that's what I am. African American is still such a wide and broad term.
My family's from Haiti, so I never really tied myself to African American.
There's 90-something countries in Africa, right?
Just like there are varying types of white people, there are varying types of black people.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that term.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on where you are and finding yourself in your ancestry. It's just kind of interesting how at time as a people we find identity with certain words. And maybe that's the other thing, is that like how you identify with it is just fluid.
I think being black is dope. I think if you are rejecting it, you're missing out on a lot of fun shit.
Regardless of your race and your ethnicity, your background, so to speak, just be proud of who you are.
There you go. You heard the little, I want to get this thing going. You heard how everybody with melanated complexion got a different perspective on the term black. But what about the etymology? And what does the word etymology mean? In a nutshell, etymology means the history and the evolution, or the study of. Basically, etymology is the study of. That's why the ology is the study of words, the evolution, the change of words, how words change over time, and the chronology of time of words, and how they change expression and all and so forth. And so, as you just heard, black folks of different melanated complexion, basically different browns of complexion of black people from different countries as well as here in the U.S. with different perspectives on the term black American, and African American. And so, in the process of this, let me hear what Brother KERRY has to say about this before I go into the etymology as far as what I've researched on this term. Go ahead, Brother KERRY. Go ahead. Can you share with us your perspective on this?
We're speaking a language that's not ours. So we're speaking an English language, and the words that are used, these are words that we didn't come up with. These words aren't in the history of us. So we use these words what other people put out, and what happens with words, the words are like current. When we say it, we do it. We think, we say, we do. That's how humans communicate. That's how humans go through life. We think it, we say it, and we do it. And so when we take another person's word and we're saying it, we're doing what they want us to do. And this isn't hard. You can take how a dog is trained. A dog, you can't put a dog out in nature and he listens to what man say. He's going to listen to what nature say. The person that you call an African American or black person doesn't do that. They don't listen to nature. They don't communicate with birds. They don't communicate with deer. They don't communicate with bees. They've lost that communication because all they know is what they bought. And
what do you say? What do you say, Brother?
That's how we see.
Let me ask you a question. What do you say to black Americans, aka black Americans out there, who say that they are truth seekers, who say that they're conscious, but at the same time say that we should not be concerned about things like that because the only thing that matters is the here and now? What do you say to that?
No, I'm saying, yeah, the here and now does matter, but where are you in the here and now? Are you in the here and now of your own volition, or are you?
Go ahead. You just went out. Go. Repeat that, my brother. Brother KERRY, are you still there?
Here and now.
You kind of faded in and out. Go ahead and repeat that one more time.
I said we are in the in and out now. That's true. But are you in the in and out by what you say, your relationship to the planet, or are you in the relationship to somebody, what somebody else is say your relationship to the planet is? We are in the here and now. But if you say here and now, let's just take time for instance.
You know, let me ask you a question. Let me also raise the question also. In the process of comprehending the etymology of words, when you talk about this language that we're speaking, my show has just disconnected from the air for a minute and is trying to reconnect. I'm not sure why my show just disconnected. Okay. Brother Currington, now I see that you're there. Can you hear me, my brother?
Yeah.
Okay. Brother KERRY, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Let me raise this question right quick. What I know is something that I noticed that the system, okay, that the system that was founded by Europeans which something that today's people, young people as well, I think are not mindful that we're still living under a European colonial rule. It seems to me that this system is attempting to rid everybody away from the term culture. What do you think about that, Brother Kerry? Brother Kerry?
Well, yeah, they are. They are trying to do that, but, you know, they use us to do it. Because we don't care about our culture. We don't even think about it. Matter of fact, we don't even have one. We pick up other people's culture, and we do what they say.
Yeah, and the reason why I raised that...
So when you say...
Go ahead.
So here's an example. Here's an example. So like you say the term black. People are not colors. People are not crayons. Things are colors. So we talk to ourselves, and we learn ourselves.
You're going in and out, my brother. Now I can't even hear you. Are you there? I just losing your connection. I can't even hear you.
And that's what people just pushing, and you're black power, and you march and picket and do all this other bullshit, and we look stupid because we use terms that doesn't describe us. It describes us in a way other people want us to be described, and when we want that to happen, we be what they want us to be.
That's true. There's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. Talking about the term black and talking about how these words, the language is not our language, which is true. We speak an Indo-European language. This language that I'm speaking right now, which is English, was a created language, which is a bastardized language, which still is a Indo-European language. Due to the fact that we do speak this language, and our language we don't have because our culture was taken from us, and as a result, the majority of Aboriginal people who don't know they're Aboriginal or even indigenous for that fact, talking about the term black, I call my radio show called the Black Village Community Podcast, okay? As a result of that, I looked up the etymology of the word black. Now we know, you said it yourself, this is a language that's not ours. So, since we're speaking a language that is not ours, okay, no matter what I tell you about the etymology of black or the definition of the word black, it's still going to come down to the fact that I'm using a term, I'm using a word to describe myself that really is not going to give me the true meaning of who I am. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying you're using a word. When you use the word, when you think it, you say it, then you're going to be it. So whenever you call yourself black, you're making yourself like a redacted document in the culture. In America, you're making yourself, you're saying what you are.
Well, okay. Well, look, right. You say I'm saying what I am. All right. I got in front of me on my screen, on my computer screen. It's called the Etymology Online. So basically, I'm going to break down, read offline, which is an online etymology website. Now, it says about black. Old English black, absolutely dark, absorbing all light, the color of soot or coal, from Proto-Germanic, now it says from Proto-Germanic, black as, burnt, source, Old Norse, dark, or Old German, blah, black, Swedish, black, ink, Dutch, blacken, burn, or the burn of gleam, shine, flash, source of the Greek plegen, to burn, to scorch. Now, these are the original root words of the word black from the Indo-European definition. If you go down to the second part of it, it says the same root produces Old English black, bright, shining, glittering, pale. Now, I don't understand that pale, because black is not pale. Glittering, and then it says pale. How can you get pale or glittering out of black? But it's by definition. The connecting notion being perhaps fire, burnt, dark. Usually Old English word black, swart, according to the Old English, swarthy, weather, black, blade, means black, dark, pale, colorless, and the dark-skinned people in Old English. All right. Now, when you look up the definition of what the word black is, right here I'm looking at it, even under etymology, it says it's an adjective when you go look up what an adjective is, an adjective means that you cannot do nothing with the word unless you're using it to describe something metaphorically. Meaning it's not going to give you exactly what it is, but it's going to give you the closest definition or the closest meaning to what it is. Like also a part of the word black, or by definition, etymology wise, is darker. All right, darker are dark, or something that is dark. So using the word color, just like orange, red, yellow, white, green, by definition, metaphorically, what is wrong with that? Go ahead.
So, because there are other people's definition. You brought up German, you brought up Dutch, you brought up Indo-European, but you never brought up your definition of it. See, that's the part that's the part where we make ourselves look real dumb on other people's words and their ideas, and we'll try to pontificate on them. But we don't add nothing to them. We don't look at it from our point of view or our history to make it fit us, to make it work for us. We only make it work for other people. And it's very hard for us to understand this. What did your people call themselves before they started calling you black? I don't know. You making my head hurt. We don't know. So we use other people's words, and instead of saying, we're the color of the earth.
Wow. You know what, brother? I can't argue with you because you're right. I can't say nothing about what you're saying because you're totally right. And I got an audio.
We're Americans, or we're whatever.
Your phone is going in and out, brother Kerry. But I see that you're still here. But hey, you know what? I got an audio cast I want to play that's only going to verify what you're talking about. I went and did some research on how do they put together definitions in a dictionary. How is a dictionary put together? Where do they get these definitions from? How does I want to know, how does the etymology and definitions and dictionaries and the Webster dictionary, how is it put together? And when I found out how they put together dictionaries and the definitions of words here in the U.S., I found it a little, to be honest with you, uneducated, unprofessional, and it leaves room for too much error. So let me play this audio cast right quick, and you guys let me know what you think after I'm done with this audio cast, and we can reverberate on this, how they put together words in the dictionary. Check this out.
Welcome to Ask the Editor. I'm Peter Sokolowski, Editor-at-Large at Merriam-Webster. Without a doubt, the question most frequently asked of a dictionary editor is, how does a word get into the dictionary? The answer might surprise you. It doesn't involve any academy or committee or any lobbying by word advocates. It's a process that historically has been very slow, but today can be much faster, as in the case of tweet. Whatever the speed, the process always begins with reading. Merriam-Webster editors scan everything from newspapers, books, and magazines to websites, menus, and blogs, looking for words in their natural habitat, for real evidence of the language in use. When we notice a new word, or, as in the case of tweet, a new use of an existing word, we record it with its full context and source information. If the evidence is in print, we do it the old-school way. We underline the word and bracket its context. If the evidence is from an electronic source, we record it with a computer rather than a pen. All of these pieces of evidence of the word in use are called citations. We now have about 17 million of them. We can search our database electronically or for citations from more than 30 years ago by going to the actual file cabinets. Once a citation for a word like tweet is created, that word has taken its first step to becoming an entry in the dictionary. It's by no means certain to get in, though. We need many such citations from varied sources and over a period of years in order to confirm that it's a permanent addition to English. We don't want to add a trendy word that might quickly drop from use. So the next step might be the most important of all, finding more citations of the same word. In the case of tweet, that was easy. We had lots of evidence of it in our files over a short period of time. Accumulated evidence of a word or meaning is the primary criterion for dictionary entry. Most of the time, it's quite a while before we're tweeting about it. For more episodes of Ask the Editor, go to merriam-webster.com.
There you go. You heard it. This man claims he's the editor of Webster. He's the director and editor of Webster, who you just heard. And he claims that they put together words through a reference of words, and by collecting a reference of words, and over a period of time, when they see that these words are used in the general public to the degree that it's not something that's going to drop off but is used all the time, they collect these words and they collect them, and then they research them to collect them, and then eventually they add it to the dictionary. Which, I mean, I found that quite odd, because there's a number of words that people use all the time, every day, been using for years, that are still not added to the dictionary. Now, also, even when you check out, like the word Black American, I mean, that word is not in the dictionary. Black American is not in the dictionary, but African American is in the dictionary. I found that quite odd, because the word African American didn't come into existence to be used as a normal thing, as they pushed on everybody until the 80s. But you had the use of the word Black American throughout the 70s, Afro-American throughout the 70s and the 60s, and it didn't get added to the dictionary. So sound like to me these white devils dictate what they want people to use and what they want to add into the dictionary. My brother's got anything to say?
Well, okay, so you're taking the term Black American and African American, and you're modifying the word American. What in the Webster dictionary that you're talking about, the same one, the first dictionary, what's the definition of an American?
Well, you're right, my brother. Actually, when you look at the first dictionary that was published, which was a dictionary in 1828, which is the first official dictionary, and you type in American, I'm doing that right now, and this is what you get. It says American. A Native American, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now apply to the descendants of Europeans born in America. And at least they letting you know how these white devils steal and change things. So the term American was originally applied to the indigenous people of America, according to what I just read here in this 1828 online edition dictionary. So it explains.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We don't know that.
That's true. We only know what we're reading. I only know what I'm reading right now. You're right. But
no, I'm saying, how come we don't know that? How come when it comes to knowing stuff, we never know? And I'm talking about, these are people who are 60 and 70 years old when they're asked certain things, because these are the people who have to pass down knowledge to the generations behind them. Why don't they ever know anything?
That is definitely a good question. I know this much. You know, the people who call themselves educating us, the Indo-Europeans or the Indo-European Americans who are running this country, who claim that they're the ones who are the leaders of the world, who are educating us in this system that they created. They keep it from us. How come this is not in the school system? How come it doesn't say in the school system that the original Americans were copper-colored people? You're right, my brother, and it's really sad to me that our great-grandparents and grandparents, a lot of black people, I've heard too many stories of black people, their grandparents and their parents did not tell them who they are, because it was kept from them because of fear. Because black people feared back in the 1950s, back in the 1930s, back in the 1940s of telling their children who they are. So...
Oh, they fear that in 2017.
Yeah. Because that's true.
You don't see the homosexuality that is growing in the communities. That's because the men are fearful. The men who are turning gay do not want to be a man.
Okay, so now
they'd rather be a woman.
See, now you're gonna get me in the cross strings right there, because see, I don't agree with you on that right there. I don't think homosexuality has anything to do with a person being culturally conscious.
It doesn't, but it doesn't. But I'm saying when you look around and see what's happening to us on a mass scale, and it's time for all the males to step up. Why are the males wanting to be girls when they see that their children are being kidnapped? When they seeing that their women are being dogged out, why do they want to be a woman?
See, I got 7 sons, and none of my sons trying to be women, so I don't see that.
I'm not talking about you. This conversation isn't about you. This is about the culture at large.
But I'm a part
what
of.
is happening and going on in our culture.
But I'm a part of that circle, though. I'm a part of the circle. When you talk about the general public, when you talk about the black community, wait a minute, let me say this. When you talk about the indigenous aboriginal community who are lost to their identity. Now, I'm not a part of that lost community because I know who I am, but I'm still a part of the populace of the community that is labeled the black community, regardless if I want to be that part of that community or not. I'm a part of that circle. So when you say that, now I'm looking at, okay, what have I seen? Well, I don't see that in my children. I don't see that in my family, and I'm not a gay man myself. So the question is, you're saying that this system is imposing on us and feeding us an ideology of gender reversal. That's what you're saying. You're saying this system is feeding us. This system has fed us a whole lot of stuff. This has fed us, but I personally don't believe a person can wake up one day and say, I want some dick. I don't think so. I've never woke up and said, I want a dick next to me. I personally believe people are born that way, regardless if the white man is putting it in the food and some people are more susceptible to it genetically or whatever. People are born that way. That's my position on that. So
I didn't hear what you said.
I said that my position on homosexuality is that people are born that way. Just like you have defects where people, I'm not saying that being homosexual is a defect either. Don't get it twisted. So I don't want you thinking that I'm saying that either. I don't believe homosexuality is a defect. I believe that people are born that way. So as a result of people being born that way, I don't believe it's a choice that people wake up, a man wakes up one day and say, I want to be a woman, or a woman wakes up one day and say, I want to be a man. I just don't, that's something I can't consciously see. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, did you just have an election where you had a few transgender people, men who used to be men that are now women, that won? So when you say this, you think people are born like that? It could be so. It could be in the water. It could be in all the.
Well, no, because when I do research on the indigenous people, now I know you in your eyes you'll say, well, brother, you shouldn't believe everything you read. You're right. I have to filter what I read and what I research and come to my own conscious conclusion. And the conclusion I've come to, based on the fact that I am a man myself. I'm a man myself who's been married to the same woman for 20 years, and I am not a homosexual, and I got 7 sons and 2 daughters. That it appears to me that my conscience is pure, and my conscience is fine with the fact that I see that people are born homosexual, people are born mentally retarded, people are born healthy, people are born with physical defects, chemical defects, and so I see that we're born all types of ways. To say that the system is the one that's changing us and feeding our children homosexuality and making our kids homosexual, I think that takes away from our subject matter, what we're talking about right now, which is the etymology of words. So that's my position on that. As far as the etymology of words itself, going back to the etymology of words and their origin, and as far as it taken away, the etymology of words that we speak, you're right, they're not our words. These are Indo-European words. The definitions that we have are European definitions that we have and that we are using. So we're not allowed, in this system that we live in, we have not been allowed to express our own, the definitions and the way we see ourselves in this system. That's 100%, 120% true, which I agree with, my brother. Anybody else got anything more to say? Brother Kerry Davis, are you still there? Brother Currington, I see you there. Are you there, my brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
Anything?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Up out, and it's like somebody's pinging you.
Yeah, I know. I think I am being pinged. I think I'm being pinged, and it doesn't make sense because I am on. I'm on a VPN security network, which look like I need to update my network. But go ahead, brother Currington.
Okay. I think what the brother was talking about, as far as homosexual in relationship to identity, there's a lot of people that are speaking about the effemination of the Black American male, and I think that's what he's referring to. because they are doing stuff, chemtrails and whatnot. They put stuff in the air that is causing that. Whether it's through birth defects, because you are true that some people are born effeminate because in their development they have the testosterone wasn't developed the way it was supposed to within them, so it's there.
Go ahead. Okay. I can see that, but so are you saying that what Brother Kerry is trying to convey to me that maybe I'm not seeing is the fact that there are a number of things that the system is doing to contribute to foster an idea or to foster something in our young men. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm wondering if this is what this. Now, Brother Kerry is there. Is this true, Brother Kerry? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You're just taking it personal, and it's not an affront or an attack on you. This is what's going on. There's a doctor up at Cal State Berkeley. He refers to it. I forget the name of the drug, the chemical that's being put in these food stuffs and all this other water and all this. But he says, it does it to other species on the planet. It turns male on thinking. And this is what I mean. We get so emotionally tied to these terms and these things that we go off on it. This is what's happening. You're being eliminated from the planet. So the whole homosexual, homo means one. That's all it means, one. They're trying to rid you of the planet. We don't understand that because we get emotional into it, and that ain't what I'm trying to do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying look at what's going on with us, and then you'll get a better understanding of what's happening to us.
Okay. Now, going back to now that what you talked about, you said like homo means one, which is two. It means one. So basically, you're saying that's another. When talking about the etymology of words again. Now, when it comes to the etymology of words, getting back into the reference of that and trying to and focusing on that terminology, what about like prime example, the word negra or negro, okay, which is still another label and an artificial construct that's been given to the indigenous people of this country, which still means black. You got black people, black leaders, educational people sitting there arguing and debating rather if people should use the N-word and all these other things without really recognizing the true definition of words. Now, I know what you were meaning when you were saying that we're speaking a language that is not ours. This is the Indo-European language. Again, yes, we don't have our own language, but we're stuck with this language right now. What is your remedy to the situation when it comes to the etymology of words, in your opinion, Brother Kerry?
If you look at them, they have their own language.
So basically, we need to embrace our language. Is that what you're saying? We need to.
You have that indigenous people.
Say it again.
I said you have towns that indigenous people named.
And these towns.
Should we begin to speak our own languages?
Yeah, I agree. We should. Now, what about the fact that some people don't know where to start with that?
You got Tallahassee, Tennessee.
Say it again. Hello? Being pinged from my show to be connecting and disconnecting and reconnecting. Okay, well, let me go to an audio cast that I'm going to play right now. And as my show reconnect, I'll be back with the brothers who are holding on. So hold on, Brother Kerry. Hold on to Brother Carrington. Let me play this audio cast to get things going, because my show, I believe, is being pinged again after every time I bump up my security, I turn around, my security is being attacked after I didn't tighten up my security, and it's being attacked again. So let me play the etymology of words, and we shall return.
Do you ever think about words? Does celery have anything to do with salt and sauce? How about across different languages? You can tell escribir and skriver are related to each other, or even schreiben and schrijven, but the word write is not related to them. The same way, war can't be related to guerre or guerra, right? Well, surprisingly, War and guerra come from the same word, just as insect and sex have the same origin. Intrigued? Stick around and let's look at etymology and some surprising origins of words. Hi, welcome to Snap Language. I'm Mark Franco. Words have a life of their own. They're born, change, reproduce by generating new words and by spreading into other languages, like viruses. And words even get old and die. They just fall out of use. In Latin, they use the word sal, salt, to create the word salarium. Old French borrowed that as salaire. Later, English borrowed that from French as salary. But what was the connection in Latin between salt and salary? Etymologists believe the word was salarium in Latin because it was salt money, or an amount to buy salt, which was very valuable back then. Historical linguistics studies language change over time. Etymology is a subfield of that. It's the study of word origins and derivations and how words change over time. For example, an oxa, many oxen in Old English, became an ox, many oxen in modern English. And that's why ox still has this irregular plural today. Words also change meaning over time. That's what historical linguists call semantic change. For example, originally when nice was borrowed into English from Old French, it meant foolish. Then over time it meant timid, fussy or fastidious, delicate, precise and careful, delightful, and finally, kind and thoughtful. We still have these meanings today, but we lost the original meaning, foolish. Except perhaps when you say someone is too nice. The word meat meant any kind of food in Old English. By around the 1300s, its meaning had narrowed to the meaning we still have today, only animal flesh. Okay, I need to make a disclaimer here. I am not a trained etymologist. I just know enough about the area and find it really interesting. So this video is not meant to be an in-depth study of etymology. That would be a really long video. War comes from Old French guerre. In late Old English, it became where. Well, guerre, where, war. That's how this one word, guerre, became what, on the surface at least, seems to be very different words. Guerre, war.
There you go. For some reason I was having some problems with my show, which don't make sense to me due to the fact that I got some serious VPN security going on. And so having Brother Kerry Davis on, for some reason I was being attacked. My stuff is literally being disconnected from the internet. I mean, this is wild since this has happened. And so I'm gonna see what's going on. I'm gonna get things tied up and get Brother Kerry back on maybe next Sunday. Let me also inform everybody, you've heard the etymology of words. The etymology of words are basically the history and the evolution of language and the words within them. And a lot of people don't know the true definition of words. Prime example, the word gospel was literally taken from not go spell, meaning to cast a spell, to, words are power. Spells are nothing but words. And the emotion and the power and the energy behind those words are the words that bring life and meaning to words. That's what gospel is. So a lot of people don't know the power of words. So I didn't want to try to get off the subject matter when I was talking to Brother Kerry Davis, talking about those who live an alternate or transgender life. I don't have a problem with those who live however you live your life, as long as it brings peace and love to you and peace and love to everybody around you. But I do know that the system is grooming our people. The system is grooming our people. What is the system? The European agenda, the European interest and agenda in cultivating their slave population. which specifically include people of color, melanated people of color. You feel me? And so I do know the system does foster things within our people that we need to learn to recognize and see and spot those things and filter those things out of our lives. I'm still filtering things out of my own life as an indigenous Aboriginal black man. You feel me? But as far as the word black is concerned, I don't have a problem with it because I use it for a metaphorical. I use it as a metaphor. I don't use it literally because the word black, just like the word orange, just like the word yellow, just like the word red, just like any color, purple, lavender, those words, which are descriptive words, which are adjectives, mean nothing until you finish your sentence with a description which those words connect to, giving meaning to the word. Meaning black means nothing until I say black what? Black car, black man, black truth, black, I have to bring right black apple, black shoes, black coat, black pants. So the word, if I say black to anybody, you're gonna say black what? You feel me? So we understand that brown people aren't black. So what do I mean that I use it metaphorically? Well, the word black by definition also means darker. Darker hue, darker shade, darker complexion, dark. So due to the fact that our people are made up of different shades of brown, from light brown, brown to dark brown to almost black looking brown. As a result of that, I call my radio podcast The Black Village because it encompasses, my podcast is about the melanated people of America, melanated people of America, and specifically the melanated people of America who have history in this country before the foundations of what we call America today. And so that's why I do what I do. But again, I had some technical issues running my show. For some reason, my Google phone number went down, which brought down my conference room. And also, my podcast itself was getting disconnected from my sponsors, which are Spreaker. For some reason, I was getting a disconnection. But my two guests that was on my show informed me that for some reason there was a disconnection from, I was having a disconnection even from my broadcast to my sponsors, and so when I was talking to my guests told me they heard like as if my show was being pinged, which has been a while due to the fact of my new security system. But I will be back, and I will be black, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut. I would encourage my people, I would encourage all at indigenous Aboriginal people who are truth seekers, who are seeking the truth, to, when you research the etymology of words, research so that you can specifically find out what you're looking for and what the meaning of those words originally meant in their original form, and which gives you an opportunity to see how things have changed over time. And so, that being said, let me lighten this up and bring a little comedy to this before I go off the air. Let me play this right here. Let me play Brother Ari Spears. Let me play a little something like this. Let me play this just to lighten things up before I go off the air. So check this out.
You know what's fucked up? African people don't like black people. Y'all know they treat us like shit. They talk down to us. They think they better than us. And I don't understand, because we from the same tribe, kind of. But they like white people, though. They treat y'all like family. As soon as y'all come around, they get excited. Excuse me, Mr. White Man. Thank you for bringing us here. We love you. Yay, the white man. As soon as they see us, they get an attitude. Hey, how you doing? This nigga. We don't like the black man in America. Motherfucker, you don't work, you don't do shit. We don't like you black motherfucker. Like, who are you calling black, motherfucker? I'm brown, you midnight. Who the fuck are you calling black? Like, nigga, if you stood up against a building, you'd look like an alley. Who the fuck are you calling black? The shit is unjust.
I just have to play it to lighten things up. I love Ari Spears. That brother ain't no joke. And I didn't play that to create any controversy. You know, I love all melanated people, but people, you know, Aboriginal Americans, Indigenous Americans, the copper-colored people of America who have roots in America, we are not Africans. We need to realize that the white man is trying to erase culture. He's trying to make culture obsolete. He's trying to isolate culture with groups who've always known their culture, and anybody else who've lost their culture shouldn't look for it. That's what this white devil is trying to do. You feel me? I can give a damn about how many times hackers, trollers, or white supremacists ping my show. It's not going to stop me from saying what I'm saying as long as I got breath to breathe. I'm going to say the raw and uncut. That's what I'm all about. And I'm going to say it again. Culture supersedes DNA. Culture supersedes politics. Culture supersedes. You can't go to China. You can't go to Japan. You can't go to Australia. You can't go to the Fiji Islands. You can't go to Hawaii and tell those people that their culture don't matter because DNA say whatever. You can't. It's not going to matter to them what you say about DNA, because culture supersedes. And the white man, the Indo-European, Europeans in general, the white devil is trying to make culture obsolete amongst those who are called black Americans here in America. But I don't think so. I'll tell the white devil, and any white devil, politician, police, doesn't matter. Culture supersedes all your bullshit. Raw and uncut, just like that here on the Black Village. And I will be back. I will always be black. Especially when I have to play. Look, let me play this right quick.
You go to a reservation, you see poverty, you see churches, and you see liquor stores. When you go to any hood, you see poverty, you see churches, and you see liquor stores. You see churches and you see liquor stores. So what make you think you're not on a reservation? So all these achievements that we ascribe to African Americans, these achievements by Native Americans who had to take on an identity of being African American because they was hanging us. But you think they was hanging people because they was Africans. Africans just want to go home. Nigga from here want to take his shit over.
It's wrong to do it in the streets. It's wrong to do it in the tweets. You cannot do it on the field. You cannot do it if you've kneeled. And don't do it if you're rich. You ungrateful son of a bitch. Because there's one thing that's a fact. You cannot protest if you're black.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Rather, aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine. You want to be called an American.
You go to a reservation, you see poverty, you see churches, and you see liquor stores. When you go to any hood, you see poverty, you see churches, and you see liquor stores. So what make you think you're not on a reservation?
Yeah, you heard it right there. That's the message I want to leave everybody with. We got to wake up and realize who we are. We're not African Americans. We're not black Americans. We're not Negroes. We're not niggas. We're none of those things. We're none of the things that the system has created for us, and bywords or labels that we've even created for ourselves due to our lack and loss of identity. We're not Africans. We're not descendants of Africans. I'm talking about those of us who have roots in this country that goes all the way back to what we call slavery in this country, that go all the way to the 16th, 17th, 18th century in this country. So we need to wake up, my people. We got to wake up and realize the truth and stop letting the white devil and his porch monkeys define us, who we are. So on that note, I gotta go, but I'll definitely be back and be black, and hopefully I can get Brother Kerry Davis back on with not all the problems and troubles I was having today on the air. So hopefully I can iron that out. Also, I will be downsizing my podcast, so I won't be on the air for 60 minutes or over 60 minutes. I'll be doing a 45-minute commercial-free show starting next week. So I will be back, my people. And on that note, may the Great Mother bring us together. under the wings of her peace. And as I always say, I love chicken. So love, peace, and chicken grease. I gotta go.
The sound the engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work, I know just who you are. See, use a bitch, your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that sucker shit inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitch, heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist, born on side a jellyfish I gauge. See my pedigree, most definitely don't tolerate the front. Shit I been through probably offend you, this is Paula's oldest son. I know murder, conviction, burners, boosters, burglars, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers dead with kids and I wish I was fed. Forgiveness, yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast. My expertise checked out in 2nd grade. When I was 9, on sale motel, we didn't have nowhere to stay. At 29, I've done so well, hit cartwheel in my estate. And I'm gon' shine like I'm supposed to, antisocial extrovert. And excellent meaning extra work. And absentness, what the fuck you hurt? And passiveness never struck my nerve. And that's a riff gonna be this case. The reason my power's here. Salute the truth from the prophet say.